Hey guys, welcome to You Fix It Garage, where it's my goal to help you save money by doing jobs yourself. In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the lower ball joints on the A-arm of a Workhorse P32 motorhome chassis. This video is only going to cover the removal or the pressing of the ball joints. If you need to know how to separate that A-arm, I've got another video that shows how to replace the coil springs, and in that video I separate the A-arm in order to get to the ball joint. So check that one out if you need to know that process. I also have another video that shows how to safely lift and support the front of your motorhome using your levelers and some wood blocks. So please check that out. Before we start this, I just want to say any work that you do on the front of your motorhome or on the drivetrain of your motorhome has the potential of being dangerous. And if you're not competent in your skills and abilities, please consult a professional. The ball joints on your vehicle are pressed in on your RV, and in order to remove them, you're going to need a ball joint press. I got this ball joint press from O'Reilly Auto Parts through their loaner program. Other auto parts stores also have them also. This has several parts, but the main parts that I want to go over here are these sleeves and how they work, and the press here. So the best way to demonstrate this is with the actual ball joint. This is the old ball joint that came out of the vehicle, and it is pressed in that A-arm. So if this is the A-arm turned sideways, it's pressed in from the bottom this way, and what we want to do is press it back out the other way. Okay, so the first thing you got to do is find one of these sleeves that's bigger than the bottom of the ball joint. All right, so that one is going to go on there like that. This is going to press up against the bottom of the A-arm, and it's going to allow the ball joint to slide down through it. Now on the bottom of this press has got to have something to press against, and you're going to need a receiver on the bottom, and it's going to be this piece right here. Okay, so this piece goes on here like that, and then it presses this way. Okay, now the pressing force of this clamp is this threaded piece, and we're wanting to press the ball joint in that direction, which means this is going to have to go on here, and as it's screwed in, it's going to press the ball joint down. So this screws into the bottom of the press like that. This goes underneath the bottom of your A-arm and over top of the ball joint. And then I'm not reusing these, I'm replacing them. You will be too, probably. So we're not really concerned about damage up here. Usually you would put something that fits over this. One of these sleeves that would fit over but still press. The way this ball joint's made, you can't do that. So I'm actually going to use just this surface right here up against the ball joint. And then all of this is going to get screwed together. Like that. And so as I screw this in, the A-arm is pushed up against here, and it's going to push the ball joint down and out of the A-arm. All right. Before pressing this ball joint out, you're going to want to clean really well around the base of it. It's probably going to have a lot of gunk and stuff that's built up over the years under here, and this joint has to be pushed all the way through, and you don't want to push all that junk through. So you need to clean this up real well. I'm going to clean it with a screwdriver and then a wire brush and then some brake parts cleaner to get all the stuff out of it. So here's my ball joint. I've got it all clean. I sprayed some penetrating oil on the ball joint. The first thing that goes on here is the top of the ball joint tool, then the cup, and then the cap. So all that goes on and then gets screwed in until it starts making contact here. I'm just using a big breaker bar and a socket. started concerning me a little bit because it was getting pretty hard and I wasn't seeing it moving. But once it starts to move, it presses out pretty easy. And there, you saw the pressure came off of it. All right, here's the new ball joint that's going to go back in the vehicle. They are made by Moog, and this is part number K6511. K6511 is the ball joint that goes back on there, and that comes with the ball joint and then the boot that goes back on it, which is what I tore on the old one, a nut and a carter pin. So this is the press that I used to take the old ball joints out, and I ran into a little problem with pressing the new ones in. So this ball joint has got to be pressed in from the bottom upward. In other words, it's got to be pressed this way. And so this press, it's going in here with this collar on here, and then it pushes it in this direction. The problem is the hole right here is not big enough for this large ball joint, and it stops it right there. And so I'm unable to push, like this collar goes on and this top goes on, and then the screw right there pushes it in that direction. But I'm unable to push that way because it bottoms out, and you don't want to push against the top of the ball joint. So what I had to do is I had to make myself some spacers. This is just 1/4 inch steel. It's really rough cut, but it's effective. And the way that's going to go is, if you can imagine, this is the ball joint coming up through. You got your A-arm right there. These spacers, I'll put them on there one at a time. I'll press until I bottom out. Then I'll remove it. I'll put another spacer on, and then I'll press. And then finally the last one, I'll put another spacer on and I'll push it down like that. So that's how that's going to work. This piece goes on the bottom on the screw, and it's going to press against the outside edge right there just fine. So that will be, the screw will be screwing upward, pressing it up, and it's going to be pushing it through that stack of spacers that I had to make and up into the spot. Before pressing that in, I cleaned this out real well with a wire brush and some brake parts cleaner, and then wiped it out real good. I'm going to take this anti-seize, and I'm going to put a little bit on the inside of here, and I'm going to put a little bit around the edge of that ball joint so that it doesn't seize up when I'm pushing it in. It'll slide in a little bit easier. I've got the ball joint in place. You can see it sticking out the bottom right here. The press is assembled and put on. I don't have any spacers on yet because I want to get it started really straight. And now I just need to start screwing this in. This is where a big breaker is going to come in handy for you. It takes a good bit of force to push this back up in here. And I'm just going to start out slow and keep working my way till I get it pressed in. All right, now that I got it started, to back it off, put that first spacer on. That took a little bit of work, kind of stopping and starting, but I got it pressed up in there, and no damage to the ball joint. So now the next thing to do is to install this boot, and this right here is a grease relief. It needs to be facing, it actually says on there, that needs to be facing inboard, away from your brakes. So this goes on here like this, and it's got a metal ring inside of here. It's a little bit difficult to push down, but if you get one side of it started, hold it with a pair of pliers, and then push the other side and then kind of work it all the way down. It'll set all the way flush. Got that backside started. And there it went, down on there. All right, and then I'm just going to take a bigger pair of pliers and push that backside down. And there it is. That's got the new ball joint installed. So there you go, guys. As you can see, this is a job that you can do yourself. It's a big job, no doubt, but it's one that you can accomplish with mostly hand tools that you have around your house and some loaner tools from one of the auto parts stores. I hope this video has saved you some money. If it has, please like and subscribe. Be careful on the road.